Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we're going to speak with a graphic artist and an author. Well, she kind of combines the two ideas together. Marie Kerns has created a whole entire world, and that world is called Mytherwrel. Mytherwrel is a world full of equality, justice, and it's a great inspiration for how we all want to live. And I get an opportunity to talk to Marie about Mytherwrel and the new graphic novel that's going to be coming out based on her world that she created and what it all means to her. And it's just kind of exciting to get to talk to a person as they get to as they're first releasing their creation to the world and seeing how everyone is going to react to it. So why don't we welcome Marie Kerns, animator, graphic artist, and world creator, to the show, and we get to hear about what Mytherwrel is and what it means to her. So,
hello.
Welcome to the show, Marie.
Hello.
So, we need to talk about the wonderful and epic world of Mytherwrel, right?
Yes.
It's like, so, because I'll be totally honest with you, I've always been a fan of cartoons, comics, all that sort of stuff, because the art telling the story the way it does and everything, right? You know, and the creativity and all that kind of stuff, right? So, how did Mytherwrel get born?
Oh, many, many moons ago. I was about 14, and I had started drawing these fairies, I guess you would call them. I was inspired by stickers that I had, and so I decided to expand on that story, and I just went more. The further I gone into it, the more it developed, and of course, I came across a group of people that were inspired by the story, and they also helped build the story to what it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And yeah.
yeah.
So, and then going back like a few years ago, both my husband Ian and I, we both have several ideas that we wanted to do for animation, but sadly, the cost of animation was far too high and beyond our budget. And it wasn't until a few years ago that Ian decided to take one of his stories and turn it into a comic book. And so, through Ian's company, Electric Lips
Mhm.
uh, Comics, the first issue of the Mana Chronicles is published. I was the um, I was the concept artist for characters and the interior color for the comic pages. When that first issue was published, that inspired me to take Tales of Mytherwrel and turn that into a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give the audience a little background information here because if we trail back about maybe was it almost 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
That we all worked together on different projects and everything, and you were this wonderful graphic artist, and let's say you came up with the creativity level that you would come up with when we were doing different campaigns and stuff like that were like it was like wow sort of thing, right?
Mm.
And so um I know we fell out of so long story short, everybody, it's like Marie and I fell out of touch for a little while. Then we caught up with each other, and it was because I heard about that you were trying to get Tales of Mythril published.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like really excited to see some of the drawings and everything that you had done, and if everybody would go to the blog post when it's released, is like you get to see some of the artwork and see some of Marie's creativity. So
Mm-hmm.
so how do you come up with the ideas? What is like the thought process or something that you go through to start conceptualizing?
I That is a very good question. Sometimes I'll look at something as fascinating as a rock and say, "Oh, that comes up with a story and characters and a world." So I don't know. I'm connected with something in the universe.
Yeah, and it just you just kind of let it go free and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
because if I don't do that, then it just sort of shrivels up into a sponge and just sort of rots away.
yeah.
I let it fly.
So yeah, so because I know years ago you talked about creating this epic world sort of thing,
Mm.
and what's the basic message? Because you want to use this whole thing to empower people, right?
Yeah, well, naturally, most of my stories turn into an inspiration for other people. So whether it's like self uh, follow your heart or believe in yourself, um, each character in some way can find a relationship with the reader or viewer or something, or somebody who is looking for a character to relate to. Tales of Mythril will have that as well,
Mm-hmm.
where each character has its own, his or her own journey, and people will find a connection with that.
Yeah. Oh, well, the main characters. So tell us about the main characters.
Well, with this comic book, we're going to start off with Thenia Temesca and she is what you would call a prodigy of alchemy magic. However, she tends to lose control of her emotions, and therefore she will lose control of her magic and start blowing things up. So one day, a man named Darmantum comes and takes her to a school called Gardell University. And this is a pristine school for highly skilled alchemy students.
Mm-hmm.
And for more, you gotta wait till the next issue.
So, um, what what type of, if you were to describe her as a person?
Athenia,
Yeah.
she's not so simple. Like some stories will start off a simple little farm, but she's not that simple. She has, uh, without understanding her powers, she uh, works hard to try and control herself by uh, practicing martial arts, I guess you would, a form of like a self defense using magic and brute force.
Mm-hmm.
And she loves to ride these majestic beasts called clarins, where they're kind of like um, buffalo type creatures.
Hmm.
And then other farm creatures are kind of like chicken based, but they more look like dragons, or I mean dinosaurs. So you get these dinosaur like creatures running in the desert farm, and those creatures are called mook, and they produce one of the staple food sources for Mytherwrel, which are these eggs. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. So, you're thinking about the whole thing right down to the most minute of details.
Well, yeah, when you're creating a world, you gotta. It's like if you want to be sucked into a world, you must understand the bare necessities of that world.
Yeah. So, uh, are there's like some lessons in life that using Thenia you're trying to teach people?
Mm, well, I guess for Thenia, one of the major tough lessons that she will have to face um, within this issue, and most likely issues in the future as well, temper, controlling the temper,
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on uh, being true to herself,
Yeah.
but at the same time controlling her temper so that she doesn't hurt herself or other people.
Yeah. The being true to herself thing as a creative person, is that something that's important to you?
Very. It's got to be who you are, whether it's a creative person telling a story or just living your life daily. Everyone has their method of being who they are,
Mm-hmm.
and whether you believe it or not, everybody has a little bit of creative energy in them.
Mm-hmm.
Not feel like, oh, I cannot create a story, but you could also use, without realizing it, you could use your creative. There's creative energy in what you do on your during your day.
Right. Yeah.
solving a problem, or just coming up with solutions if you find yourself uh, hitting a brick wall on something.
Hmm. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. So, out of our main characters, is there any parts of you that show through? Like your favorite points of yourself?
Hmm. I don't know. I think a little bit of me is in a majority of my characters. Um, whether they're quiet and shy or outspoken and center of attention. I'm sort of in the middle of all that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember that from working with you before that you were outspoken and steadfast when in some respects, and then in other respects you were more the okay, I'll sit back and listen sort of person also.
Yeah,
So yeah,
sounds me.
it's very you, right? So because it's a whole world, right?
Yeah.
And of course, Thenia has friends. So what are her friends like?
Well, we get to meet them in later issues, but one of her best friends that she will meet in the next issue is Ajia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like Liz, basically the other side of life. Dini is a farm girl, and Ajia is more of like I wouldn't say rich girl, but sort of like she lives a more peaceful life where she doesn't deal with farm animals, more like gardens and musical instruments.
Hmm. I see.
Mm.
In in well, it's also a school setting, right?
Yeah, well, yes, the story will start off in a school setting. Then, of course, they will graduate and see where the story develops from there.
Mm-hmm. So, um, are there any specific like social problems or anything that you want to tackle with this? Did you want to deliver a message to people that you want to get at?
Mm. Well, again, this world will have, I think, what I will do is explore the history of Mytherwrel and what the history is kind of similar to what most of us see today with what's happening with our governments and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So, the message, I guess, from that is take what happened in the past and realize that other possibilities will happen for the future. So it's like, say, dark times are now, it's not going to be forever. There is more down the road.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry about what's happening. Like, again, nothing's forever. So whether things may seem dark,
Yeah.
always remember that the sun will rise on a new day.
Yeah. So kind of stay focused on the positive and there's more
Yeah,
to come.
Yeah, you can be optimistic and realistic at the same time,
Hmm.
but also sending in the positive energy might encourage things to progress more positive for everyone else.
Hmm. What does optimism mean for you?
Optimistic,
Yeah.
where a lot of people will start saying negative things like, "Oh, this will never change. This is never going to happen." Blah blah blah. I would say, okay, uh, that may seem true, but that's only part of the truth. That if we keep pushing forward and not dwelling on the negative, we'll see that, hey, that was just an illusion. There's still a goal yet to make,
Mm.
or things are not, sometimes things change and sometimes they change for the better.
Is that what you're trying to do with the Mytherwrel? Is teach people that things can change for the better?
Yeah, it's one of them. One of the things, yeah.
What are the other things? Come on, you can spell.
Hmm. Um. Again, encouragement. Uh, Focus on your full, beyond your full potential. Don't give yourself too many limits, because sometimes limitations are what causes us to hold back and dwell on negative.
Yeah.
Mm, uh, Sometimes you just got to take that risk and go for your goals, regardless what if anybody else says about them.
Mm. So, was that is that you moving forward and you not listening to the naysayers? Is that part of Mytho being created? Because you went forward with it, and regardless of whatever naysayer was around.
Well, I didn't really have any many naysayers. I just didn't give up no matter how many times I technically failed trying to achieve. Because originally, Tales of Mythra, I wanted it to be an animated series, but there was just too many letbacks and put downs, saying, "Oh, that's not what we're looking for," or we expect to have this as a full on animated series before we take it on, etc., etc. Things that, well, if I was a big expensive studio, then no problem. But I'm just one person, and then I had like a small group of people helping with the story, of course. One of them being Doug Gillespie, who helped write it.
Yeah.
So his writing is been transformed into comic for the story. And of course, I added to it to make it flow for a comic book. But the point that I'm trying to make is that regardless of all these disappointments, I guess you would call them, I realized through the inspiration of Ian doing his comic book, I thought, okay, well, why don't I try that? And now Tales of Mythrill's finally getting told.
Right. So the end point is you want the story told,
Yeah.
and hell, well, why not? We could eventually still see it appear on our on our screens as an animation. It's just
Ability.
you know, this is one step towards it, right?
Yes.
So is that part of one of the lessons that you're learning is to keep taking the steps?
Take care of the steps, and sometimes you gotta take a different path to get the same solutions.
Hmm. So that's part of your creativity is to find the path that leads to the solution.
Right.
Very cool.
Mm.
So the anime, you haven't really given up on the animated series. You're just taking this as a step to get there.
Yes.
So you're using this step to develop an audience towards a reality.
Correct.
Yeah. And what would you want that audience to do with what they're learning from the tales?
Pardon?
What would you want the? Is there some action that you would want the audience to do? The people who read the Tales of Mytherwrel, what would you want them to do? How would you want them to act?
Well, best way to help support not just my comic book, but Ian's as well, is go to our merch shop, elpmerch.com,
Yeah.
and purchase one of our many designs that we have on that store. Uh, we got his Mana Chronicles as T-shirts, blankets, etc. And then I'm also wearing one of the Mytherwrel shirts. So let me get. So this is one of the
Oh, very
neon.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get that one there too. Plus other designs that I have for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I imagine you want this whole thing to become like a whole movement, like other comics I from when we were growing up. We had like the Spider-Man comics and the Fantastic Four and the Avenger comics and all like that, and it's like we were learning like equality and justice from these comic books. You know,
mm.
he was trying to create a movement like they did with the comics then. You know.
Well, in a way, but basically, just showing what's life like on a different world.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like a world with two suns, for example.
Yeah. Is there any parts of that world that you'd like to see in our world?
Hmm.
Like maybe attitudes or you know how people treat each other, sort of thing.
Uh, well, regardless of what's happening now, like there's a lot of diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but again, regardless how one may think about what's going on now, it's again, it's not going to last forever. You never know what's going to happen, and sometimes, yes, we're always going to meet somebody that we disagree with, but how we react to that is up to us as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people will just full on hate what anybody has to say,
Yeah.
or somebody like me is like, okay, I hear you, but strongly disagree, and move on.
Well, there's an interesting concept, right? It's
Yeah.
like instead of dwelling in the disagreement in the hatred part, okay, we can agree to disagree, and then we can still move forward and create more beauty and loving in our world, right?
Well, that's a good goal to have. Yes, it's not going to be easy to fully on um, expect that to happen overnight. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't wave a magic wand and poof. Oh, everybody loves each other. Yay.
Yeah, but you know, the like comic books and things like that are part of that magic wand of creativity to help us know that that's possible.
I would consider them more like planting the seed of tree of knowledge.
Ah, I like that one.
Hmm.
Wait, what would be some of the fruit that you'd like to see of that tree of knowledge?
Mm. Peaches.
And what would that peach represent? I mean, like,
Fuzzy on the outside, sweet on the inside.
ah. So we'd have a
Well,
world that's
life's fuzzy.
we'd have a world full of fuzzy on the outside and sweet on the inside,
Yeah.
meaning that we'd have to as we go through, we have to go through maybe a little bit of journey, but the end would be something really cool, right?
Yeah. And then using the core as another seed to plant.
Ah.
So
So,
the journey of learning keeps going.
mm, that is a really cool concept in of itself, right?
Mm.
You keep planting the seed and keep learning.
Yep.
Gain the knowledge, plant the seed, learn more.
Sounds about right. Yep.
Yeah. So, what are some of the lessons that you've learned while going through this journey of creating Mytherwrel and um and what would you and what is the things that you could teach people from it?
Uh, well, I learned would have inspired me to take classes for animation. So I got to learn how to develop animation and putting together um, series pitch booklets.
Yeah.
And then from there, working together with some friends on some other animation projects. And then, of course, meeting up with Ian, we learned together how to put together comic book and then how to write for the comic book
Mm-hmm.
and all the little tricks trying to put the comic book together.
What do you mean little tricks of putting a comic book together?
You know, like how to do little speech bubbles, for example, um, and how to properly layer the comic book, the artwork, and displaying the boxes for the each panel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So so you create each panel layer by layer.
For me, yes, because it's just easier to do it that way in case I have to um, move certain images over,
Yeah.
make room for the speech bubbles.
Yeah. I do remember something that uh, from because remember when we all worked together because I used to do some graphic arts too and everything, right? And sign development, all that kind of stuff. And I remember all the layers and um, one of the things that people didn't get that never tried anything at all in graphic arts was
Mm.
why it took so long for something to save.
And how many layers you have?
Right? It's like most people think that is like one of the reasons why it takes so long for things to develop is because they most people think of a single they think of the like text it's a single like a word document it's only a single layer. It's like
Mm.
zip zap it's saved in and when you have like I don't know like your background, right? That tells a Mytherwrel that could be, I see like two different types of text, and um, and the sun that's just behind your head. It's like two suns, right? It's like, and each one of those things in of itself had to be a layer.
Hmm. And then don't forget the little moon in this corner, and
Yeah.
then chunks of
See, yeah.
other moon on this side.
So all that work to create each layer, and then you have to put the layers together in just the right way so that the shading and everything else works also.
Hmm.
It's like, and then you hit save, and then you go get a coffee, and you come back and you look at the screen and it's like, oh, it's still saving. Okay, I'll go get a cookie now. And you finish the coffee and the cookie, and lo and behold, it's saved. Do you remember that?
So many moons ago.
Yeah. So it was always lots of fun, right?
Mm.
You know, um, it was like the waiting part to see this for it to all come together.
Yeah.
So
A lot of computers are more powerful now. They could handle more data. But yeah, I remember turning on a computer, going to get a coffee or something, coming back, and it's still uploading.
yeah,
Yeah, time for a new computer.
yeah. So um, but it's the fun part of about it all, right? It's a lot of hard work that you put into it,
Hmm.
and creating it and um, do you are you able to like reuse like say that background that's behind you like if we were to take away um, the bubble that has the text in it the two bubbles and it takes it if we were to remove those and you had that background could you introduce characters straight into it
Yep.
so
That's what beauty of having layers is all about.
so you can actually like literally remove go in click click okay, that
Hmm.
layer's gone. Now click click, put that layer in, and it can kind of helps the work move along a little faster.
Yeah. But I don't do usually don't do a click click. I use drop and drag.
Drop and drag.
Drag
Yeah,
and drop.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, but so you're having a lot of fun like
Hmm.
building Mytherwrel And what's the satisfaction of watching it come to life?
Uh, it's coming on great, and the as I go along, I get to be more creative with the world itself and the vehicles that these characters drive in. Like it's not like normal cars that we have. The cars are different, and I kind of in order to make sure that I got the perspective correctly, I do a unique way of uh, going into Blender and modeling the rooms or the vehicles
Mm-hmm.
in the 3D, and then rendering it so that I could take each perspective and kind of trace over it.
Mm. Okay.
Mm.
Very cool.
Mm.
So, when's the big release?
Soon. I'm going to say either maybe sometime in October. Again, we're in the process of having it proofread for grammar.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's completed, then we full on launch. And it should be within a few weeks. Again, I probably would recommend following us on social media because that will we will definitely be announcing the launches on social media.
Cool. Best ways to find you on social media and find the
Yeah,
whole project.
I have the website talesofmytherwrel.com.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you don't mind adding that in the
And
text.
trust me, it will be in the show notes
Yeah.
and the other social media outlets that you're on.
Yeah, on talesofmytherwrel.com, there is links to our social media on Twitter and on the Facebook group.
Okay. Very
Hmm.
cool. Well, Marie,
Yes.
I hope you have a good launch, and I look forward to actually getting my copy of the comic book. Because hey, I'm already a fan.
There we go.
All
It'll
right,
happen.
all right. So, thank everybody for listening, and go to talesofmytherwrel.com and
And
look in
also
in this. Go
visit
ahead.
our merch page too.
What's that?
Don't forget to visit our merch page.
Our March page.
Merch.
Oh, merch.
elp.com.
Oh yeah, merchandise. Don't forget merchandising, merchandising, merchandising.
Yes, help support
There's-
the creative
yeah,
process.
get your T-shirt. Yeah,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
yeah. So it's also on the same website, right?
Yep. You could. There's a link there, and you can see all the different merch that we have. But if you're also interested in checking out the other designs, we also have those as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So again, go to talesofmytherwrel.com. Check out the merchandise. Get your copy of the comic book, and join in the movement that's being created on social media also, and click the social media links. And thank you, Marie, for joining us again. And
Michael.
and everybody listening, please find that subscribe button wherever it is, and so you can get more shows and hear more about really cool projects and coaches and everything that inspire us to do great things. All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Help us to go.
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.